Hi, and welcome to Fan Talk with Simon.
I'm David.
Today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man Far, Far, Far From Home.
Far from home.
It's out second weekend now, so doing very well. First at the big weekend box office. It has done what a sequel needs to do, and I use the word sequel very oddly in this phrase because it is the sequel of a rebooted franchise that also is within a 23 movie
Film.
series.
Yeah. So it's a sequel of a sequel of a
Reboot
of a sequel.
It's doing what a franchise needs to do in the fact that it's a follow movie to Spider-Man Homecoming, which is improved upon the predecessor. It has, in the 2 weekends it's been out, it's up to 844 million worldwide, and Homecoming was 880 million worldwide, and so it's just 40 million behind, and it's been out 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So it's improving upon its predecessor. It's similar numbers on the domestic. It's only just shortly behind. They'll make it up. This is in contrast to the last go around, the so-called Amazing Spider-Man, with Andrew Garfield, which had a fairly strong opening first one, but still wasn't as good as Maguire's. But then the second one was a big, very decent drop off. Not a huge drop off, but enough that I'm sure studio execs rethought the entire concept, and that's where one of the reasons where we ended up where we're at now.
Yeah.
Which now leads people to be able to compare and contrast their three favorite Spider-Men, and for different reasons. What's your thoughts on it?
Like I said, I'm a big Marvel fan. I have comics. I read them. And Spider-Man obviously is a lot of people's favorites. And it's kind of one of those things. When Tobey Maguire got to Spider-Man, I was baffled. I was like, what? But he did a good job. I enjoyed the first two Spider-Man movies. I enjoyed. The third one not so much, but we won't really get into that. That's another time. But Garfield, when he took the reins, especially the first movie, I really enjoyed it. I thought he did a great job. It was a darker Peter Parker, which, if you read the comics, he's one of those guys that hides his pain through his comedy. Spider-Man's witty. He's always sparking off stuff.
They get more of the inventor side of it, too.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have webs coming out of his arms.
Yeah, he actually, you get to see that he's smart. He's, he creates his own things. But kind of like the rest of the world, when the sequel came out, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie, but it wasn't done as well. I didn't really like the take on Electro. I can see why the rest of America didn't enjoy it as much as the first one.
I'm sure half of most of America was like rewatching the end Gwen Stacy's scene, thinking, just one more second would have her.
Yeah, but I won't lie. I mean, and some of it's probably my wife. My wife is in love with Tom Holland. Tom Holland, if you're watching, my wife loves you. But he's great. For the moment he took over, it's a new Spider-Man, and it's a lot more like young Peter Parker you see in the comic books. I mean, he's insecure a little bit, but you also see that inventor side and how smart he is and how he's, becoming Spider-Man without actually doing an origin, which I really liked about this Spider-Man is that it was a reboot, but we didn't have to do an origin story. We just started like, he got bit by the radioactive spider. Yeah, he's Spider-Man. Yeah. We know that.
Then just started the Civil War and be like, you want Spider-Man? Here he is.
Yeah.
We all know how he got here.
Yeah. And I love that. I love like when movies do that. It's like with Batman movies and all these other
I don't need to see Batman's parents killed him.
Yeah, I don't need to see over and over and over the origin story. I don't need to know that Superman's planet was destroyed and he came from Krypton. I know that. The world knows that.
And we'll say this, believe me, for another one, but do we need to know the Joker's origins? Put a pin in that. We'll get to it later.
Yeah, but I would go with Tom Holland. He's a great Spider-Man, and as far as like my opinion on him, I have to say I think the rest of the world agrees with me on this one. The movies are doing extremely well.
Each of their Spider-Man have the actors on Spider-Man have their own strengths, and also the movies themselves have their own strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire was when the first X-Men was around too. Don't get me wrong, and that's a whole other story for the history of comic book movies. But the Spider-Man series was one of the first major comic series we had, and they're still finding their sea legs a little bit on it. But he was the first to make it that work that much and that work that well in the comic book series. So he gets a lot of credit for doing that. He did capture a certain essence of Parker in those movies. I think some of the other aspects of Peter Parker were missing, such as the inventor, the genius, that they hinted at a bit with Maguire, but they didn't really go into. They just kind of stuck with his social awkwardness, having to do the right thing, living up to great power.
Yeah.
They did a lot of that, but they didn't capture the other elements, which then they kind of went back the other direction to Garfield, and they kind of overcorrected on those things and then not the others.
Yeah.
They didn't seem as socially awkward as I think Peter Parker needed to be.
Yeah.
And then I think they balanced all that in the right amount.
Yeah, with Tom Holland,
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland Spider-Man, they really found a good. And once again, I think it has everything to do with Marvel Studios.
Well,
being
as
charged,
much as
taking
I like these actors and how much they do a good job and how much of the character release from them, to be fair, their dialogue is written for them. The director is directing them.
Yes.
They are interacting off of other people. So they are a major part, a huge part. I'm not trying to diminish their work in it, but they're just one part of
the cog.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things people often forget. You know, all the work that goes into making a movie. People don't understand that there's so many different facets of creating a good movie, and actors are the center stage, the ones that get the most credit. But there's a lot that goes into making a film. This movie, you've seen it, and for anybody that hasn't seen Spider-Man from here on out, spoilers. Seriously, don't watch the rest of this video after you watch the movie.
Just hit pause, or actually even better yet, just hit repeat. Until we come back and we can continue watching it.
Yeah, so you've seen the movie.
Yeah, so
and I mean, I saw the movie, and I mean, I told you when I saw it, you can tell me if you agree, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's all the points that it needs to hit. Great storyline, the development of Spider-Man further as a person and as a character. Introduces a great new villain.
The way he was introduced was great too.
We'll get that. All the secondary characters, how their screen time and their work put into it. I don't feel like any of the movie was wasted. Also, with how much was put into it, I also don't feel like it could collapse under its own weight. It handled it all very well.
Well, you know, we've discussed this before. The thing I liked about this film was there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in Spider-Man Far From Home. And there's a lot of different locations and movements. There's another movie that did a lot of that, and it was just complete chaos. There was just so much going on. It just felt like it was a bunch of different movies. Aquaman. You know, it just tons of movies crammed into one that could have been 3 separate movies, in my opinion. Spider-Man.
They put a lot of world building in that movie, which probably could have hurt it. But I didn't hurt it the bottom line, though.
No. But I'm just saying, when you're watching it, you're just like kind of like overwhelmed almost a little bit. With Spider-Man, it wasn't like that. I mean, everything felt natural and good.
We'll just walk through just quickly the basic rundown of the plot. We're not going to go into like every scene by scene, but basically opens up with Nick Fury and company investigating what appears to be an elemental.
Yeah.
And then the character, Quentin Beck, which we'll eventually know is Mysterio. Gets named by the character in the movie, but basically Mysterio. Comes along and saves the day. Fine. We then crack over to New York City, where they do a great, I think, tribute to the Endgame on how this plays up after the 5-year, what they call in the movie, the blip. Which I'm glad they don't call it the snap, because most people in the world didn't see the snap.
Exactly.
They just saw a blip in time.
Yeah.
So they did some great service on how that really affected things to a degree that they're going to in this universe, because it's another conversation, but I think the actual realities of a 5-year, half the population disappearing and then 3.5 billion people coming back is going to cause some severe problems.
Oh, yeah.
But for playing into a comic book movie, where I'm sure in the comic books this kind of thing happens almost weekly, and people move on with their lives, they did a good job of like trying to integrate some of those logistics into it. And a part of which is that people didn't age during the blip, which luckily for us was all the main characters that were in Peter Parker's class, and who are now going on a field trip. Ned is along for the ride, so is MJ. Yeah. Peter has googly eyes for MJ, and is spending part of the movie trying to figure out how to woo her. Ned initially wants to be the American bachelor in Europe, and immediately gets sidetracked. Girlfriend. They go along to Venice, where a water elemental attacks. Mysterio shows up. Spider-Man kind of gets involved. After that is defeated by Beck. Nick Fury shows up and recruits Spider-Man to join up.
He wants to recruit Spider-Man. Spider-man doesn't really.
He really doesn't want to.
Do it.
He's not wanting to do the hero thing.
No, he wants to just try and get a girlfriend, live a normal life. So good old Nick Fury just changes the whole world around for him and forces him.
Yeah, and gives him a pair of Tony Stark's glasses that basically Stark bequeathed to
Peter.
To Peter.
It allows him to control all the
everything.
rockets.
Yeah, all Stark's satellites and AI.
Yeah.
Basically a miracle classes. It's definitely a MacGuffin for this movie. So then they're going to Prague due to Nick Fury's interventions on this, where the fire elemental comes out. Mysterio has Peter help him defeat it. It gets defeated. Peter is enamored with Mysterio. I think he's a superhero.
He thinks he's amazing, and he decides he wants to live this normal neighborhood Spider-Man thing. He doesn't want all this responsibility, and he feels like when Tony left a message for those glasses that he didn't really mean for Peter to have them. He meant for him to find the right person to give them to, and so he foolishly gives them to old Mysterio.
Leaving me in the theater trying to bang my head against the wall. But that's how the movie is made, and it's fantastic. So from there, and we find out after Parker leaves, Mysterio lays out his plans for, basically he wants to use all this tech to show that there's like a huge fake threat, like the elementals. It's all just smoke and mirrors, basically.
Yeah.
And then he comes on and saves the day and becomes a hero. And his crew is made up of a lot of former Stark
employees. And so basically the whole thing is really, he's angry with Tony Stark, and Tony Stark is dead. He can't get back at Tony, so he wants to replace Tony as the new Iron Man, basically. He wants to be the new hero and basically show up Tony, because all these people that are working for him are all people that Tony basically shoved off and pushed aside.
It was nice to have them, each of these people that showed, they trace them back to different Iron Man or other movies.
Once again, that's Marvel. They're very good at tying everything together.
Yeah. And I every chance to get here, Obadiah Stane yell, he made this in a cave. It's worthwhile. Shortly after that scene, Parker and MJ kind of start to hit off a little bit and start to, I guess, understand each other. She guesses that he's Spider-Man. And then together they also figure out that Mysterio is using holograms to create the elementals. They go off to, Spider-Man goes off to try and warn Fury, gets caught up with Mysterio and completely ran over the coals by him with the smoke and mirrors and the holograms and everything else. Manages to survive. Meets back up with Happy Hogan, designs a new Iron Man suit, and kind of evokes the Tony a little bit by doing that. I thought that was nice little touches here and there, and also the back and black flank. So he gets to build himself a new suit. He goes to London, where Mysterio is now fighting another combined elemental, which is also a double play to one, have an Avengers level event that he gets to save the world from, and using it to kill MJ and others that know his secret.
No, he's Mysterio,
So Spider-Man gets in there, saves the day, and Beck is killed by his own drones, not by anything else. And Spider-Man saves the day. Everyone else lives. They get back to New York, and they show him swinging off through the skyline with MJ.
Yeah.
And that was the end of this movie. Nothing else happened.
No.
Until the credits got halfway through.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We'll go into more about what I like and dislike about this movie. But I will say this. The end credit scenes were both good. But it kind of rocks you to your core, because, of course, spoilers, again, spoilers. In the credit scene, J. Jonah Jameson pops up on the screen. Oh, we got this video.
J.K. Simmons as.
Yeah, which was a great fan thing. And it's like, oh my god, they got it back. That's great. Because, I mean, that was perfect casting.
Yeah.
And if you got perfect casting, just use it.
Yeah, you don't bring a character back without, and do it in a similar way without him again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it was brilliant. It was a great homage. And then he's like, got this video, and it shows Mysterio there. And he's like, oh my god, Spider-Man's gone crazy. He's killing me. He's using all these drones. And by the way, Spider-Man's Peter Parker. And he just outs him to the whole world.
Well, then they re-edited the video to make it look like Spider-Man just killed him.
Yeah. And it was just one of those things where it was like a movie that just was really great. It ends all happy, and then it's like, oh, gut check.
And what's interesting on this mid-credit scene is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've really been thinking hard about this. This is the first mid-credit scene that is a direct continuation of the previous scene.
Yeah.
I mean, usually they're all like separately set up or a different time and place. This
yeah,
is
or
like,
it's leading into another film.
this is basically like if they just stopped the cameras for a second and restarted. Like this was a direct coming off that last scene,
Yeah.
which was interesting.
And then there's the end credit scene where you see Nick Fury realize that he's in a spaceship and that the Skrulls,
Talos,
have been imitating him on Earth, and so he's not even there.
In a friendly way, it appears.
Yeah, and which also makes a little sense about why Nick Fury was so off in this one.
Yeah, I mean, also covers up some plot holes about why the other Avengers didn't come help out,
Yeah.
because this really wasn't Nick Fury. He was kind of covering.
Yeah.
There's definitely a few points in the movie where I'm like, it's not quite Nick Fury, but okay. I just gotta go along with it.
Yeah, and it makes sense at the end.
Yeah,
so, I mean, it was done well.
So this is basically Samuel Jackson playing Talos playing Nick Fury in a very Samuel Jackson way.
Me, pretend to be me, no, me. Yeah, it's one of those kind of things. But it was good. And as far as Spider-Man movies go, is, in my opinion, hands down the best one. Now, I
want to make a guess here.
Yeah.
There's very little Iron Fire in it for you.
Yeah. And I love this because he got away from that. Like,
the very beginning is there.
Yeah, you know that one of my biggest beefs with this Spider-Man is that they haven't really showcased his power. In all the Spider-Man appearances, I mean, yeah, you see some things.
They talked about it, but then he gets the suit right after proving himself.
Yeah, and in Homecoming there's a part where he has to push and he's like, come on, Peter, he gets out. That's fine and good. But in most of it, it's like, oh, he's powerful because he's got this Iron Man suit. And it's just...
Which reacts for him.
Yeah, and it's like, and he has Edith, like, talking to him the whole time, and she, like, can turn on all these weapons for him and different web shooters and stuff. Spider-Man is incredibly powerful. He's got super agility. He's an inventor. He's brilliant. All these things are in the comics that I feel like they hadn't showcased. And in this movie,
as he said, I'm sticky.
They knocked it out the park. I mean, one of the big things in this film was his spider sense, which is an amazing. The Peter Tingle. It's an amazing power because it literally allows Spider-Man to not be able to see. If he doesn't need to see. He can sense all this danger around him, which is why when he's swinging, he can move. Like in the end, where he's fighting all those drones, there's only thousands of drones, and he's able to duck and dodge all these bullets because he literally can sense them before they get too close to him. And so he's able to maneuver his body and move around.
Even with these power things showcased, I didn't really feel like this wasn't a Spider-Man movie in that he's in a mask the entire time. This is Peter Parker most of the movie with only masks, here and there as needed.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like, they just leaned totally into Spider-Man. This felt like the whole package. The whole Peter
and I think that they're building that Peter character, like the Mary Jane and him relationship, which is big in the comics, and they're trying to build a lot of that now. So I'm sure the third movie we're gonna have,
I like to touch on that just for a second.
More ground, built up.
The end of Homecoming, they basically introduced or showcased who MJ was, and that was it. Maybe a sideways glance between the two of them. This movie, it starts off, Peter's in love with her, and it turns out she basically reciprocates, and then by the end of the movie, they're in a relationship. Now, I know they can't make these Spider-Man movies every week as a serialized storyline, which they would, but they obviously can't for many, many reasons. So they can't show a gradual progression of a love story. And I guess also it is high school, so love does happen fast.
Yeah, that's my thing. I've heard a lot of people talk about that, like how they feel like, oh, it was rushed. And I get it. I see where they're coming from. But you got to think about high school. Like, when I was in high school, every girl that I had a crush on, I was in love with them. Now, we all know that Peter Parker is in love with Mary Jane, and they're together. Yeah. But right now, they're just getting together. But he is obsessed with her. He thinks she's nuts. He's just nuts for her. So, I mean, he's in love with her. I mean, it's that high school crush kind of love. And, they have to get them together, and we don't know.
They have to get that piece of the puzzle in place ready for the next.
Yeah.
That, and also I think they do the Ned storyline of basically being, going from not knowing a girl to boyfriend within an 8-hour plane flight.
Yeah. To
make the MJ Peter storyline look more normal.
Yeah, well, and it also showcases how teenagers are. I mean, luckily my kids aren't teenagers yet, but I remember being a teenager and like my friends, and we have girlfriends for like 3 weeks, and then next week you're dating somebody else, and my parents were trying to keep up. They're like,
I think I had an 8-hour one.
Yeah, right. It's just like so that didn't really get me. I mean, with this Spider-Man, Like, I love the fact that the suit, like, there was an homage to Tony, but it also was a thing that really showcased that Peter Parker is a genius. He's very, very intelligent,
Yeah.
and he's very technologically inclined. And so in the comics, he builds his own web shooters, he designs his own suits, which is what he does in this film. And he gets back to a normal Spider-Man suit. It's not like an Iron Man suit, which I really appreciated that
Right.
fact of the movie as well. If I had to give my negatives, a big negative on this Spider-Man movie, and it's not just this one, but I really thought about it, and looking back on the older movie, it's in the comics, his most protected secret really is his identity. Ever since Gwen Stacy dies, right, he realizes that him being Spider-Man is, like, it's dangerous to everybody he loves and cares about. So his Aunt May doesn't even know he's Spider-Man. You know, I mean, Mary Jane knows, but that's, like, very few superheroes know who he, you know, other superheroes even know that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. He protects his identity to the extreme.
Right.
And in this movie, you know, I mean, when he's walking in, and Nick Fury, which wasn't Nick Fury, he's like, oh, everybody knows who you are anyways, you need to wear the mask. He's just so nonchalant about,
I thought that felt a little off.
yeah, about letting all these people, which you don't know who all those people in that room were. I mean, they're S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, but do they all really need to know who Spider-Man is? Or do they all really already know? And then, you know, Beck, who is Mysterio, now knows that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. That's one of the Sinister Six. The Vulture also knows who Spider-Man is, that he's Peter Parker. Also a member of the Sinister Six. The Shocker also knows, because if you think about it, the Vulture asked him to stay outside the school and make sure Peter didn't come out. So the Shocker also knows who Peter Parker is. Who Spider-Man is. All these villains, like, all know. And now the whole world knows. And I'm like,
it'll be interesting to see how they follow this up, but unless they incorporate this storyline into another MCU movie, we won't know for 2 or 3 years.
yeah.
Which is, oh well, let's have to live with it.
Yeah, you know,
but Mysterio. Seeing the previews, I was like, okay, I guess, you know, alternate universe or alternate Earth. I can buy that. They're going weird enough with this. I could buy that. Which also goes to prove the whole point of Mysterio in this movie.
Yeah.
I could actually accept that in this. And I was like, okay, I guess they're really going to kind of go out in left field with this, but they actually kept it a lot more grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And
which
kind of made fun of that, the fact that I would have bought that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, you know, the whole thing is, when I saw Mysterio, you see that, you know, iconic costume, you're like, oh, Mysterio's the bad guy. That's
It's cool.
awesome. You know, that's cool. Another member of Sinister Six, you know, like, that's cool. And, but, like, they're making him out like he's a good guy, and I'm like, well, that's weird. How are they gonna? I was thinking the whole time it was gonna be one of those things that he was a good guy, and something happens and turns him into a bad guy. You know, and then it was brilliant the way they did it. And like you said, I was really happy that it wasn't one of those. There's all these alternate universes and everything.
I think that's kind of too complicated. You know, one of the things I liked most about it was, well, a ton of these movies have to do the exposition, explain the bad guys' backstory, motivations, and plan. And clunky dialogue and exposition just go hand in hand, and it's just such a hard thing to do. And this made it to where you got all that in one scene, and you realize if you know what's happening, but you didn't feel it like, oh my god, can I get to the end of this,
Yeah.
like Bond villain? I know what you're, you know.
Yeah.
You know, when he's in the bar and like he goes through like all of the different like people that helps him out, and they build up this whole like backstory, what he's doing and plan, and this great exposition scene where Mysterio is just kind of like getting louder and louder into the toast and everything.
Yeah.
And it was a well crafted scene where by the end of it you're like, I didn't feel like I was going out in exposition.
No, it
well
really
done.
explained it all, and it tied in why, you know, it really created the character for you. Which, that's the thing that I really respect about the Marvel movies in general, is how they've managed to incorporate original costumes when they can, and how to tone them down when they need to.
They haven't shied away from the costume, but they did in the old X-Men days.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted yellow spandex.
Yeah, but then with some of them, they've toned it down to make it a little more, you know, viable and believable. And then also with these backstories on characters, it's like they change them around and they make them so perfect. It's like the Vulture in the comic books wearing a green suit and it's just ridiculous. But in
Mechanical
but
great.
in the movie, he's got the mechanical wings, but he is wearing the bomber jacket with the fuzz around. It's like
It's a great little callback.
yeah, it's great like costume design and things. The people who are behind all that are amazing. You guys are brilliant. and the way they piece that all together.
And all the little details, like even Ben Parker's suitcase that Peter Parker takes with him to Europe, just like little Easter eggs I thought was great. And, takes out into Europe and never really showed up again, but I thought it was funny at the end. Aunt May was like, oh, I mean, lost your luggage, oh well. And, just kind of one of those little.
No, it's great because it was intentional. You know it was. It's like he had the baggage.
That was like the mental baggage, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he had the baggage of the death of his uncle. And when he came back, he was over it. When he went on the trip, he was still Peter Parker, the neighborhood Spider-Man. When he came back, he's thinking bigger. He realizes that now he is for all intents and purposes the new Iron Man. You know what I mean? That's kind of that's a lot of what this movie was about too. Was really kind of Peter Parker finding his place, because he felt like he was just a neighborhood Spider-Man, but he also felt like that Tony had all these expectations that he needed to live up to. And by the end of the movie, you feel like he's really comfortable with who he is.
And with that mid-credits scene, I don't think it's as doom and gloom as it comes across, because it comes across as J. Jonah Jameson's kind of basically YouTube style channel now, the Daily Bugle, as opposed to a newspaper,
Which is smart.
which gives them it's a great update. But also, it comes across as a conspiracy theorist kind of public or podcast.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people are going to shrug that off as far as him being the murderer of Mysterio.
Well, I don't think it's going to play. I think that they'll be able to write that off real easy, especially when Nick Fury
But
gets
giving out
back.
whose name is a problem.
Yeah, when Nick Fury gets back, he'll be able to spin that. He's such a good, with all those kinds of things. And the
Yeah,
thing
there's
is,
the Avengers out there and stand up for him.
you see that Spider-Man and all the things go away after he gets the glasses. So obviously Spider-Man got Ribbit, and Spider-Man, it's like even in the comics, Jameson's always going after him and saying how bad he is, but most people love him. They're just like, whatever. It's
So I
Spider-Man.
think I can blame just the identity problem. It's the whole thing.
But the big thing is that they said who he is.
That and Peter Parker can never obviously work for the Daily Bugle.
Yeah, because there's oh, he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Unless they have there can be ways you can spin that. I mean, because Peter in the comics, one of the reasons why nobody ever thought that he was Spider-Man, and it's also because technology was different when the comics were coming out. It was a little dated, so those old ones. They used to pan the cameras up in corners.
You saw that in the McGuire one.
Yeah, and he'd swing by and they'd snap a picture of him, and he had these great photos because he knew Spider-Man. And it's like, well, he couldn't know him and get these great pictures if he was Spider-Man, And so, I mean, it could be one of these things where he gets outed as Spider-Man, and then they make it obviously he can't be
He's like a
Spider-Man.
16-year-old kid.
He can't be Spider-Man.
He was in Germany.
And he'd be like, well, everybody's just saying that because I had this internship with Tony, and I know Spider-Man. I mean, I've met him. A lot of the Avengers, I've met them because I had an internship. And, it could be, once they show what kind of person Mysterio was, it can be explained away. But it sucks that, he's just like, hey, it's Peter Parker.
It's a great cliffhanger. It's one of the first, besides Infinity War, the first really, truly cliffhanger we've had that hasn't been just a teasing a future movie or future character.
Yeah, and also I think it leads up to the fact that, I'm just going to spoiler, Mysterio isn't dead.
I think it'd be dumb to permanently call off any character at this point, other than obviously.
Because he even says, he's like, is this real? Is this real? And it's like, no, this is really happening. But you also see the guy close the laptop and typing all this stuff on there. And obviously, I feel like, Mysterio isn't dead, that he got away, and so I feel like this all leads into, who's our next Spider-Man villain going to be.
Do you think it's going to continue down the roster of Sinister Six?
I don't know, because these guys are, because it's been broken up between different.
It's hard to reboot a previous character, especially like Doc Ock, who's done great back in the day. I'd say back in the day, that's 17, 18 years ago, but still, he's been done great, but it's been a while now.
Well, it's just, okay, the original movies, you had, the Green Goblin, you had Dr. Octopus,
Sandman and
Venom. Sandman's a member of Sinister Six, and the casting for him was great. I can't imagine them finding somebody better to play that role as far as looks go, anyways. Then you had the Lizard, and then you had the Electro. And, in those movies, it's just, I think, if you're looking at the enemies, I would say that Kraven the Hunter would be a great possibility for the next Spider-Man movie, because he's an original member of the Sinister Six. Because you think about it, in the movie so far, you've had a Doctor Octopus, you've had the Sandman, you've now had Mysterio, you've had the Vulture. Really, you're missing Electro, which they've had him, and you're missing Kraven the Hunter. He's never been in.
And Scorpion was just like in the jail scene at the end of Homecoming.
Yeah, he was in this jail scene. He wasn't actually an original member of the Sinister Six. He has been a part of it though. But Sinister Six has changed so many times.
Yeah, like Avengers in
You
general.
know, I just know that original when Garfield's movies came out, the plan was they were introducing all these different villains, and the original idea was they were going to have a Sinister Six movie.
Well, originally the Venom movie was meant to be part of that Spider-Man Garfield universe, and it's still, I don't know if it still is, but that's where the idea, the kind of brainchild was of the Venom movie that came out was to be from that
Yeah. So,
universe.
I mean, I could very easily see them doing a Kraven the Hunter as the next Spider-Man villain. And I think that could be very easily done, and it could be a lot of fun. But we don't know. We'll see what their plans are.
It depends also how they want to just keep incorporating Spider-Man into the MCU, and also that deal between the two companies holds up.
Yeah, well, I know that this next Spider-Man movie is going to come a lot sooner than like a lot of the sequels have. It's like going to be about a year apart, kind of like the last one. They're not going to be spaced out as much as some of these other sequels from Marvel movies that we've seen. And a lot of it has to do with the contract they have. And I don't know if that's because they don't have so long to do the films. I mean, I don't really
I haven't seen
know.
a release date on that yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do try and pump it out sooner than later because it's a big money maker for Sony. It's the only money maker having to do the MCU for Sony.
Yeah. But I mean, I would not be surprised if they try and sign some other kind of contract after this one is done to try and secure Spider-Man for some more MCU. But we'll just kind of see where MCU goes from here.
And it'd be interesting to see, based on the success of this deal that they've had, if that can lead other companies to do deals with Marvel to unlock other things such as Hulk or even possibly, I think, Namor. And there's a couple other ones that are still just tied up in licensing issues that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
But I guess that time will tell once those companies feel the need to do it.
Yeah.
But I hope you enjoyed us today. We've been talking about the new Spider-Man movie. We'll be back soon with some more content. Please hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Take it easy.